dear cadets. So as you know, in the previous video we have discussed the physical change. There are two types of change. Number one is the physical change, second one is the chemical change. In the physical change, everything I have explained you. Now today it is the turn to teach the chemical change. So chemical change is entirely different from physical change. In physical change, what was happening? New substance was not formed. What was there? Only the physical property of the substance is changed. Here, what is there? What are the first characteristics of chemical change? Here, new substance with new identity is formed. Means new substance will form, but its identity will also be different only. Means its identity will be different from the materials or the chemical compounds from which it is formed. Always remember. So new substance with the new identity is formed. Second one is it is permanent change. What is the meaning of permanent change? The meaning of permanent change is once the new substance is formed, there will be its permanent existence. It can't be brought back to its original substance. Means cannot be brought back to its original substance from which it is formed. So remember, it is a permanent change. New substance which has formed, it will have their own identity. Next one is it is irreversible. What is the meaning of irreversible? Means new substance cannot be brought back to its original substance from which it is formed. So it is irreversible. Means it cannot be brought back to its original form. Next one is chemical composition of the substance is changed. See, I will give you the example. Just see. In photosynthesis, what is happening? Carbon dioxide and water is chemically reacting together in presence of sunlight and in chlorophyll, and they are forming carbohydrate with the evolution of oxygen gas. So just try to understand. Carbon dioxide is inorganic substance. Water, that is inorganic substance. But when they chemically react, what they are forming? They are forming carbohydrate, and that is organic in nature, and its structure is very complex. So what is it? Chemical composition of the substance is changed or not during the course of this chemical composition, during the course of this chemical change? Reason, just see, carbon dioxide, CO2 and H2O. So why their chemical composition is changed? Because the arrangement of particles, arrangement of the atoms are different. Means during the course of chemical change, chemical composition means arrangement of the atoms or particles are different. That is why chemical composition is also changed. Always remember, chemical change is always characterized by evolution of gas. Sometimes one gas, sometimes more than one type of gas. So chemical change is always characterized by the evolution of gas. Second one is change in color. What is that one? Change in color. And what is the third one? It is characterized by the change in energy also. During the course of chemical change, energy either it will be absorbed or evolved. Means energy change is there. During the course of formation of any chemical compound, either energy is absorbed or energy is released. If these are the characteristics found in any change, so definitely that change will come under the category of chemical change. And there are so many examples we'll discuss and we'll justify. Just try to understand here. The first example is rusting of iron. So dear cadets, the first example of chemical change is rusting of iron. This side I have already given you the full list of chemical change, and that side also I have written the examples of chemical change, and one by one I will explain. First one is the rusting of iron. Now you might have seen that there is brown color flakes which deposited on the iron and iron object, especially in the rainy season. So that rust, which is this brown color flakes, is known as It is the new substance. What is this one? It is the new substance. Just see, iron react with water, means moisture and oxygen, and it form Fe2O3 dot XH2O. This is rust. So rust is chemically, what is that one? Rust is chemically hydrated iron oxide. What is this one? Hydrated iron oxide. And now original iron is silvery gray color, but when rust is formed, it is brown color flakes, brown color layer, which is deposited on iron object. So just see, new substance is formed with the new property, new identity. So rusting of iron is an example of chemical change. Another example is digestion of food. What is this one? Digestion of food. So just see, in digestion of food, always remember, digestion of food is an example of chemical change. Just try to understand. Digestion of food starts from our mouth itself. Just see, saliva get mixed with the food. We are chewing the food, and after chewing the food, when food is divided into small particles, we are swallowing it. And through esophagus it is reaching to the stomach. In the stomach, what is there? Hydrochloric acid is released, and that hydrochloric acid is killing the germs and bacteria which enter to our body, our stomach through the food. And hydrochloric acid is making the medium acidic. And try to understand. Now there churning is there in alimentary canal. What is there? Peristalsis movement is there, churning. So all these hydrochloric acid and other enzymes, they get mixed with the food. Now the medium of food is acidic. Afterwards, don't think that only this one is happening. Now from the liver also, some enzymes, some juices, they are mixing with the food, and now food is ready to go to the small intestine. In the small intestine, what is there? Fat. Then what is there? Proteins. They gets digested. And now after digestion, in the small intestine only, what is happening? Absorption of the food is taking place. Now undigested food and some waste after the digestion, they go to the large intestine. In large intestine, absorption of water also takes place, and undigested food stored in the rectum. Just see, in this entire process, what is the obvious thing? What is the imminent thing? Imminent thing is, in each step, in each part, some chemical substances is being added with the food. So digestion of food is an example of chemical change or not? There are so many chemical processes which are taking place in each part of the alimentary canal. So digestion of food is an example of chemical change. Another one is the bursting of crackers. When crackers burst, just see third example. When crackers burst, in crackers, what are the chemical substances involved? The chemical substance basically used in the crackers are the potassium chlorate, KClO3. This KClO3 is highly inflammable substances, and sometimes they use the red phosphorus, white phosphorus also, and some other chemical substances. So when just see cracker burst, then what is happening? Fumes, light, all these things are evolving or not? So what is it? Bursting of cracker is also example of chemical change. Not only this one, during the bursting of crackers, some harmful gases also evolved. So this is an example of chemical change. Respiration. In respiration, what is happening? Respiration. Just see. In respiration, carbohydrate, that is C6H12O6 plus O2. This is equal to 6CO2 plus 6H2O. That is form or not? 12. Now just see. This is the equation of respiration. What is this one? This is nothing but carbohydrate. So this carbohydrate reacting with the oxygen and forming carbon dioxide and water with the evolution of energy. So what is it? This is also an example of chemical change, because original substance, that is carbohydrate, losing its identity and it is forming carbon dioxide and water. Photosynthesis example already I have given you. Now burning of coal. Always remember, burning of any substance, burning of paper, burning of cloth, burning of coal, burning of LPG, burning of biogas, wherever burning word is there, that is an example of chemical change. Why? Just burning only takes place when there is a presence of oxygen. And see, during the burning of any substance, maybe less or maybe more amount of heat is evolved, heat energy is evolved. That is why burning of any substance is an example of chemical change. Another example is already written here, growth of human being. Just see, earlier you joined the Chinese school, then you were in the 6th class, but when you reach to the 12th class, your height has increased or not? Not only your height, what is there? Allah means so many ability, capacity of your body has increased. Why? Because growth, so many chemical changes taking place in your body, hormones reactions, enzyme reactions, vitamins effect, nutrients effect. So growth of human being is an example of chemical change. Because of chemical change only we are growing. Next one is setting of milk into curd. Milk. When set into curd, just you see the taste. Taste is different or not? Milk is not sour in taste, but curd is sour in taste. Not only this one, in the milk so many minerals, carbohydrate, fat, proteins, all are there. But all these things are not present in the curd. Curd has got different property. So curd is the new substance which is formed after setting up milk. So new property is there with the formation of new substance. Production of biogas from animal waste. You might have seen the biogas. Biogas is born due to anaerobic degradation by anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria decompose the animal waste like cow dung. Then what is there? Urine. Whatever animal waste are there, just you dump into one pit. Then what is there? Some bacteria will be there. They will decompose those animal waste and one gas will be released. That is known as biogas. And this biogas is highly inflammable and it produces heat. So production of biogas is an example of chemical change. Another one is the burning of magnesium ribbon. You might have performed this activity in lower classes, that magnesium ribbon, that is grey color, silvery grey color, one metal, magnesium. Since magnesium is a highly reactive, so sometimes on the surface of magnesium there is a formation of magnesium oxide layer. So before performing this experiment, what you should do, with the help of sandpaper, you should remove the magnesium oxide layer. Otherwise, burning won't be taken place. So when you burn the magnesium ribbon, white ash is formed, and it always burns with white dazzling flame. And that ash, you started with the silvery grey color magnesium ribbon, and after burning, what you have got? White ash. So new substance with the new property is formed. That is why burning of magnesium ribbon is an example of chemical change. So in this way I have completed the chemical change. It doesn't mean that in UPSC exam only these changes will come. There are so many examples. Now like this example, just see CuSO4 dot 5H2O. What is this one? This is copper sulfate. Blue vitriol, copper sulfate dot 5H2O. So when you are heating CuSO4 plus one. This is blue color substance. What is this one? Blue color substance. Now when you heat this one, 5 molecules water of crystallization will come out. So this is an example of physical change. What is this one? Physical change. Now this will be white color, means colorless compound. Colorless compound. I'm now trying to understand. Only 5 molecules of water is coming out. Colorless. So this is physical change. New substance is not formed. Always remember, this is and the last video also I have explained this one. But when you read this one, CuSO4, then what is there? Copper oxide plus SO3 is formed. So here you just see new substance with the new property. Copper oxide. Now this was the colorless. And what about copper oxide? This is black color compound. New compound with the new property with the evolution of gas, that is sulfur trioxide gas is formed. So this is an example of chemical change because new substance is forming with the new property. So in this way your physical and chemical changes are over. The basic difference between physical and chemical change is this one only. In physical change, only physical properties are changed. New substance is not formed. While in case of chemical change, new substance with the new identity is formed. So dear cadets, in this way your chapter number 1 of UPSC syllabus is completed. Now chapter number 2. The chapter number 2 is elements, compound and mixture. And in 9th class, 10th class, 11th class, you have studied all these things in detail. And in 11th class, I myself only taught all those things. Nevertheless, since it has been given in your syllabus, so once again I am revising all those things, and with the hope that already you have got. So just try to understand the evolution, the genesis of element, compound and mixture starts from matter. Okay? Again listen. The genesis of elements, compound and mixture starts from matter. What is the matter? Anything that occupies space and have mass, that is known as matter. Everything in and around us is matter only. We are also matter. Air is also matter. Building is also matter. Chalk and duster, they are also matter. Mobile is also matter. So anything that occupies space and has mass, that is known as matter. And matter can be classified in two different ways, on the basis of physical properties and on the basis of chemical properties. So on the basis of physical property, matter can be divided into solid, liquid and gas. Now earlier what was there? There were 3 types of physical classification of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Now 2 more new addition is added to this classification, that is the plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate, BEC. This is also known as BEC, Bose-Einstein condensate. So just remember, on the basis of physical classification is based on physical property. So on the basis of physical property of matter, now matter is following type: solid, liquid, gas, plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate. Now solid substance. Solid is of 2 types. As you know, what is solid? Everybody know about this one. Solid is the matter which has got fixed shape, fixed volume. Now interparticle spaces are very less. They are rigid. They are they are not at all compressible. Interparticle attractive force is very strong. That is why their shape is fixed, volume is fixed. They don't have flowing property because interparticle attractive force is very strong. Solid can be divided into 2 categories: amorphous and crystalline. What is amorphous? Means whose geometry is not fixed in 3D. That is known as amorphous. Talcum powder is the best example. Whose geometry is not fixed. Means what is there? Their particles are not arranged. Particles are not in a definite pattern, that is known as amorphous solid. You might have seen the lead nitrate powder in the laboratory, that is amorphous, whose geometry is not fixed in 3D. Constituent particles are not arranged in a regular fashion, permanent manner, that is known as amorphous solid. What about crystalline solid? The meaning of crystalline solid is particles, constituent particle may be atom, may be ion, may be molecules. Constituent particles are arranged in a regular pattern. There is one particular pattern in which they are arranged together and they are held together by interparticle attractive force, that is known as crystalline solid. So there are supercrystal, salt crystal. They are the means they have got fixed geometry in 3D. Geometry in 3D, that is only known as crystalline solid. Crystalline solid can be classified under following category. Number 1 is the ionic solid. What are the ionic solids? What are the ionic solids? Ionic solids are those solids in which ions are held by the electrostatic force of attraction. Sodium chloride, potassium chloride, magnesium chloride, these are the examples of ionic solid. Means ions are held together by the electrostatic force of attraction, electrovalent bond. So they are the ionic solid. Example, you know, metallic solid. What are the metallic solid? Metallic solid is bit different from other solid. Just see, copper metal, aluminium metal, silver, gold. These are the metallic solid. Now question arises here, in 11th class only I taught you. What are the metallic bond? You know metals are known for losing of electron. So when you take metal means atom of any particular metal, then what would be there? They are known for losing of electron. So do you think that only one atom of metal would be there? They means if you take one flake of metal, so millions of atoms would be there, and those atoms of metal, they will lose electron. So there would be a sea of electron. So metallic bond means simultaneous attractive force between mobile electron and positively charged ion. Means there would be a sea of, suppose this is sea of electron, E. Here also electron, here also electron, here also electron. And try to understand, suppose I am taking X1 metal, X. So now this X metal will lose electron and these electrons are here only. So when it will lose electron, then what would be there? Everywhere X positive will be there or not? X positive. Because after losing electron, this will be converted into positive ion. So there is a simultaneous attractive force. This is cation. What is this one? Cation. And what are they? They are mobile electron, and they are negatively charged. So there is a simultaneous attractive force between mobile electron and positively charged cation. Mobile electron and positively charged cation. So this simultaneous attractive force between mobile electron and positively charged cation are kernel. That is also known as kernel. That is known as metallic bond. And such type of solid is known as metallic solid. What about covalent solid? Covalent solids are those solids in which atoms are held together by covalent bond, like iodine, sulfur, phosphorus. They are formed by the covalent bond. That is why they are known as covalent solid. What about molecular solid? Molecular solids. Molecular solid means their constituent particles are molecules. Dear cadets, just see, there is one basic difference between covalent solid and molecular solid. In covalent solids, what is their constituent constituent particles are atom. In molecular solid, the constituent particles are molecules. In covalent solid, what are the examples of covalent solids? Covalent solids are diamonds, graphites, and some others. Some other examples also you can take. In these, even silica. So in this one, covalent solid, what is there? Constituent particles are atom and they are held together by covalent bond. In molecular solid, constituent particles are molecules and they are held together by van der Waals force of attraction or hydrogen bonding. You might have seen in the hydrogen bonding, what is there? Actually, the hydrogen bond is an example of connection or bonding of two molecules of water. See the hydrogen bonding in water molecules. In water molecules, two water molecules are held together by hydrogen bond. So hydrogen bond will comes under molecular side. Wherever hydrogen bonding is there, molecules wherever hydrogen bonding is there, so they will be the molecular solid, because hydrogen bonding is responsible for joining or bonding of two molecules. So molecular solid examples are I2 molecules. I2 molecules. What are other examples? Bonding between water and water through hydrogen bond. Quartz. In such cases, what is there? Molecules are held together by bonds. Dear cadets, it is so first difference between covalent solid and molecular solid I told you. Constituent particles are here atom and here molecules. Sometime what is there in the exam, UPSC exam, 2-3 questions are oftenly asked from this particular chapter. So basically the important thing is examples of covalent solid. In examples of covalent solid, diamond is there, graphite is there, quartz is there, and SO2 is there. You know, in the diamond what is there? 4 carbon atoms are bonded through covalent bond. In graphite, each carbon atom is bonded with 3 other carbon atoms through covalent bond. Only 4th electron of carbon is free. Because of that only graphite is a good conductor of electricity and it is very soft. Now example of molecular solid is I2. Then dry ice, solid carbon dioxide. Here also what is there? Here constituent particles are molecules and they are held together by the either van der Waals forces or hydrogen bonding. Some other examples also you can write here. Ice is there or not? In ice what is there? Hydrogen bonding is there or not? That is why water molecule. In ice what is there? Hydrogen bonding is there, and because of hydrogen bonding, what is there? Some gaps are found, and these gaps means air is trapped in these gaps, and because of these gaps air is entrapped. The density of ice is lesser than that of water. This is the only reason, that is why ice always float over the water. So hydrogen bonding is there in the ice also. And see, when hydrogen bonding is there in the ice, so water molecules means H2O. So many H2O molecules held together. So they are the examples of molecular solid and covalent solid. Remember, ionic solid and metallic solid, they are very clear, but there will be confusion between covalent solid and molecular solid. So I have told you here, just you note down these examples. Now in the upcoming video, I will teach something about the liquid, gas, plasma, Bose-Einstein condensate, and this one, pure substance, impure substance. Thank you.